Welcome to my first long-form video that I've ever made, and might get posted, we'll see. Depends on how I'm feeling. I just want to talk a little bit about what I'm going to make in this video. For whatever reason lately, I've really been inspired by flowers, and I really wanted to make some in crochet form, so I decided to make this wreath. I thought it was a good start, and to see how complicated it is to make flowers, which I learned it's all different, depends on how complicated you want it to be. But I really enjoyed it, and I really enjoyed making the flowers, so it might be something that I continue to do. We will see, but yeah, so here it is. Let's get into it.
We can't create a successful project without all the tools needed. So I went over to the handy dandy internet and I grabbed a bunch of wire tools and a bunch of yarn and my favorite color just to get started. When I got to this tool, I was so confused. No idea what this is. If you know what this is, feel free to let me know. In my research, I learned that you do need wire to create flowers, so I grabbed a bunch of that off the internet as well. I saw many other makers use embroidery thread for their flowers, so I grabbed my stash just in case I use it. And to the University of YouTube, we went to do some research for this project and figure out exactly what we were going to make. I will list all of the wonderful creators that I used in the description below. Time to pick out our yarn and our hooks and get started on our project. You're going to choose your yarn and your crochet hook specifically on your favorite color, and then you're going to painstakingly decide that you want it to have an ombre effect, so you're going to tie multiple different colors together multiple different times, and you're going to get these beautiful little wisteria flowers. Just as quickly as this video definitely happened, you will have a whole bunch of wisteria flowers, a whole fleet of them, we will say. You can't stop with just one type of flower, so we're going to grab another color of yarn, our favorite drink of course, and we're going to crochet definitely as quickly as you're seeing in this video. If only all of the fiber arts really only took this long. How nice would that be? I would not consider myself someone who typically gravitates towards pink, but all around me, up until this video, there was a beautiful flower that was in bloom. Sadly, their bloom has pretty much come to an end at this point, but I was so inspired, I had to make some of my own. Finally, that wire that I talked about earlier is going to come into play for these. It's going to give you a chance to mold the petals and give you a little bit more dimensionality and maybe a little bit more realism, at least as much as you can get with a crocheted flower. And once you've got your petal all finished up, you're going to twist, 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 and snip, snip, snip. These types of flowers are going to have those little stems in the inside, and I learned from someone near and dear to me that they're not just called pollen, they're called stamen. So I want to make sure to say the right thing here. When I first began making these, I just held the little stamens with my fingers, and my fingers hurt so bad from the wire. I eventually got smart and started using my needle nose pliers, so it's not too late for you. Make sure to use the right tool for the job. Once you've made a whole bunch of little stamens and a whole bunch of little petals, which of course only took me as long as you can see here, you're going to twist them all together and you're going to make beautiful little cherry blossoms. In the tutorial I followed, she used a dark pink for the bottom of the petals to create a little bit more realism. I did not have any, unfortunately, because I've moved and I had to leave mine behind. But I would encourage you to get some chalk pastel just to give it a little bit more interest and a little bit more realism. It was at this point that any plan that I kind of had for the frame wasn't gonna work, so I went on the internet and I bought this vintage, quote-unquote, embroidery hoop. When it came in, it was much more plasticky and didn't come apart like I expected, but that's okay. I thought it was cute, so we are gonna go ahead and make it work. I waited a whole day for the frame, sat down and was like, okay, let's assemble it. and then realized I didn't have any greenery. Don't be like me. Make your petals before you're ready to assemble everything. As I mentioned, this quote-unquote embroidery hoop doesn't come apart, so I shoved some yarn in there, and then I secured it by twisting. In the tiny toolkit that I bought came this little wire that I was super bamboozled by. No idea what it did. But I looked at it, and in this moment I realized it looked like a giant threader. And for whatever reason, I was struggling to thread my yarn through the needle, so it came in handy here. Don't know if that's really what it is. Pretty sure it might be, though. Eventually, I got my touch back and I no longer needed the threader, but I was glad that I found out what it was for the meantime. If these were crows, it would be a murder of crows, and that's way more interesting than a bouquet of flowers. So we're going to grab our murder of flowers, and we're going to compile and assemble them once we figured out exactly where they look all nice and beautiful. It was time for me to bring out my knowledge of the square knot and try and secure all of my yarn together, and then snip, snip, snip away all the extras, and with a little bit of hope, maybe it won't fall apart. Once I secured all the flowers so beautiful I have a bag named after it, it was time to move on to the cherry blossoms and all of the greenery. I also made these cherry blossom buds and these cute little brown flowers to incorporate all the favorite colors of everyone who lives in this household, since it will be the welcoming piece for our home. And when we acquired this door, it had a bunch of stickers on it. So here you can see me grabbing all of my tools to scrub away all of the nasty, sticky residue and other random things that I don't know what they are. One clean later, and I'm almost ready to show the final reveal. But first... Okay, I guess we're gonna do a getting ready video for my filming. Never done that before. Yeah, I'm gonna start with getting my hair less tingly so that it'll dry a little better. Currently I don't own a hairdryer, so it's gonna have to air dry before I do anything to it. But here we go. Alrighty. Got my coffee, which feels very wrong in the bathroom, but... wanting hot hair rollers for a while, so I finally got some, and here you can see me struggling to figure out how they work, and are they just magic? Are they just on? I wasn't sure at the time. Now time for the big reveal.